So the reason I'm uploading this video is because I think it's important that you get to know the person behind the tree who is talking to you before I start uploading videos about all my collection of stuff, my books of shadows, things like that, discussions with you all, swaps, yada yada yada. I think it's important that you get to know me a little bit and you get to go, is this someone that I kind of want to be watching, if that makes sense. So here we go. Really quickly, I'm 23, I live in England. I've been married for a year and a half, and I've been with my partner for 6 years. We are inseparable. We hate each other. We love each other. We bicker, but we're incredible together. I live by Disney, which is basically you fall in love once and you have a fairy tale ending with your love. I know a lot of people think I'm vulnerable and gullible by saying that, but until it happens, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, and that's how I see my life. Um, what have I said? I have a dog. I have 2 cats, a snake, and a gecko, and I was in care when I was 2, and I was adopted when I was 4. I was then put back into care when I was 11. There's been a lot of controversy about it. A lot of people don't agree with what happened to me, and they believe that, once you adopt a child, they're there for life. Um, my adopted mum and dad did have their own children before I got put into care, and some people thought that could have been a reason. However, I was a little shit. I don't excuse my behaviour. Do I think it warranted me being put into care? No. And the reason I say that is because for 3 years I've been working with children, mostly with children with severe behavioural issues, and I was never like that. I was never that bad. I think the worst thing I ever did was get permanent marker and write over my bedroom walls, "You're not my real parents." So yeah. Um, One event that did happen to me that I will share, and I don't mind sharing, a big event that led to me being where I am now in my life. I was taken at my own will for several days. The police found me and rescued me, and I'm very fortunate for that. Um, do I look back and feel sorry for myself? No, because I look at it like this. If that incident in my life did not happen, I would not be where I am today. And I am so bloody happy where I am. I get on really well with my adoptive parents now. I didn't 3 years ago, um, but we've got past it. I do live 4 hours away now. When I got put into care, I moved 4 hours away, and I've been there ever since, and I've been really happy. I'm lucky. A lot of children in care don't get the second chance that I got. I did get a second chance in life, and I'm very happy. I do sometimes have bad days. I do think um, the anxieties I have come from that incident in my life, and they are: have I done something wrong? I always think I've done something wrong, and oh, there we go. And do people not like me, or are people talking about me? I get that quite a lot as well. Right, really speedy. I'm impressed. This took me 10 minutes to talk all about this before, so I'm doing really well. Right. Other thing, I do, um, when I'm having bad days, I do think to myself, and they are really, really rare. Most of the time, it's when it's the anniversary or when it happened. I say anniversary like it's a dun 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 day, or like when a time of the year, should I say. But I tend to just kind of think to myself, there's someone out there who has gone through 10 times shit more than you. Get over it. And I've got to be honest, and I've got to say that this year is the first year from how I can remember that I'm dealing with it really well. It's coming up in a few weeks, and I'm kicking its butt. I'm totally kicking butt right now. Like I've not got upset once, and I'm doing really well. And I think it is because of my path, my spiritual path, and how I'm expanding. I've got to say, with all the therapists I've had shoved down my throat, the path that I'm on now is the best path I've been on. Right, let's go into the spiritual history of my life. So, my earliest memory of being different than my Catholic family was when I watched The Lion King, when it got introduced into my life. There is a scene between Mufasa and Simba when Mufasa says to Simba, um, he explains the circle of life and that when you die, you come back as something else and we're all part of the same system. Catholics obviously don't believe that, and as soon as I told my mom I did believe that, that was it. You're going to confession. Um, I still remember my dreams that I used to have. When I used to go to bed before I actually fell asleep, I used to envision like a little mini white helicopter coming to pick me up, and I would immediately shrink, and this helicopter would take me to like this land. Now I've found um, that when I received the therapy, when I left where my parents lived and I moved to where I live now, so this is 8 years. That whole 8 years of the memories of my spiritual beliefs have completely been wiped. It's almost like my memories had been wiped, and it was only 4 years ago where I started to remember this. Now I have bumped into a therapist a few months ago, and he was actually saying that the type of therapy he used on me, and this isn't about spiritual, this was to do with something else, but he was saying when he does therapy with people that have suffered trauma, rather than getting them to deal with it, sometimes he gets them to forget it, and that's his way of dealing. Don't agree with the method at all, but at the same time, it's worked, and I think what's happened is my memories from my spiritual beliefs have also gone as well, because maybe I linked that to thinking that's the reason I had problems with my parents, that's the reason I got put in care, because I've got to be honest and I've got to say I knew I was always different to my Catholic family. I was always different. You know, whilst they were sat indoors playing Monopoly or shopping or, you know, laughing in the house, I'd be outside in the garden, at the far end of the garden, with a big black cauldron making mud pies. I was the weirdo. So when I was 11, I think, I'm saying to you this now, I think I must have got it from Charmed. I don't remember, and I can't think of anything else where I got it. I ended up emailing a lady that I'd found on the internet inquiring about Book of Shadows. I went through a really weird phase, I remember, where I was completely obsessed. I was always searching about it on the internet on my dad's white big computer back in the day. Never replied to me, and I never got a reply. Then, a year later, I got put in care, and I wasn't. It wasn't until I was 13 that I moved to where I live now, and I've stayed there ever since. So I've been where I live now for 10 years. Now then, 5 years ago, um, all of this, by the way, I completely forgot. And 5 years ago, my friend literally dragged me to a health spiritual festival. And at the time, I remember thinking, "Ugh, I really don't want to go. It's all a scam. Just people just scamming you." And didn't have any interest whatsoever. Ended up getting a reading off a lovely lady at the last minute, and I don't know what's happened, but since then, boom, I am now who I am. All my memories came back, um, although saying that they came back gradually, and I ended up going through a phase where I started spending lots of money to do courses. One of the courses I did that cost me about £350 was a tarot course, which I ended up dropping out of because on my third day it was all about basically putting a book in your face and saying, right, if a card is upside down and it means this, a page of wands means, this means this, and I was doing readings and I didn't want to look at the book. I was being guided not to look at the book. I wanted to read the picture, look at the picture intuitively and say what I could see. And the teacher didn't like that. And in the end I just thought it'd be best if I left. So I did. And then about a couple of months after that, I ended up being invited to do another course, which again I didn't think I was going to enjoy, but I ended up really, really enjoying it. It was a practitioner course in angel therapy. I loved it. And at the end, the lady introduced me to her friend, and we got to talking, and she lives where I live, and it wasn't until the next day when she invited me back to the place I'd done the course just to cover something for her that I realised it was actually the lady I had emailed 10 years ago or 11 years ago when I had lived 4 hours away, and I now was living at the bottom of the road from her. And I just thought to myself, that for me was a sign. I was like, yeah, that's a sign. Then something really strange happened about a few weeks after, at 3 o'clock every morning. Sometimes it was 3:01. I woke up and I would automatically look at the moon. It was almost like the moon had woke me up, and I could see colours from this moon. Then my partner out of nowhere brought me an aromatherapy gift set. Then my adoptive Catholic mum sent me a book called The Green Witch, um, and some other things happened. And anyway, I just kind of felt like nature was pushing me in this direction of, you're a witch. You know, go down this path. Don't go down the other path. Go, kind of like, just have a look into it. Because if someone had said the word to me, witch, I would have automatically thought Wizard of Oz, green nose, pointy hat, and I would have laughed. But I looked into it, and ever since then, I've been on this amazing journey, and I'm loving it. It's like a roller coaster, and I am loving it. I would describe myself as an eclectic pagan. I'm not Wiccan, I'm not Alexandrian or Gardnerian, I am eclectic. And the reason, if you look at this tree now, I'm going to show you what I mean. This tree represents me exactly. So the roots, me. Then you've got each branch, and each branch for me represents a different belief that I have. So, for example, it could be Hinduism, it could be Buddhism, it could be, I'm probably going to say it wrong, but shaman, Reiki, Wiccan. There might be something in Wiccan that I do kind of follow. Um, Alexandrian, Gardnerian. What else have you got? You've got loads. But basically, I'm a selfish bugger, and what I say is that I take things that I think, I believe this, I believe that, I think that, and I adapt it to make it my own. And, like, for example, Catholic. I'm not Catholic. I've been reminded by my adopted dad I'm not Catholic, and I receive monthly emails and picture messages of prayers, wishing and praying that I will go back to the church, and I just send him ones back. It's really funny, actually. Basically saying that, you know, we all have the same God, because that's one thing I do believe. I do think that we all have that one God, one deity, that created all things. Then you've got God and Goddess and Greek mythology, Norse mythology, Egyptian mythology, you name it. So that's where I am. At the moment, I'm going to say them wrong, but I'm stuck between polytheism, I'm saying it wrong, I know I am, and monotheism, external or internal. I'm learning about it at the moment. Basically, I'm struggling a little bit with that. Whether to believe that there are lots of gods and goddesses, or that there is one god, and the gods and goddesses, the mythology, are really that one god, being like sending down different gods and goddesses, if that makes sense. It's hard to explain, and I'm not even going to try to explain it when I can't understand it myself, but I'm learning about all that at the moment. So that's me. If you've got any questions, please comment and ask. I've had to edit this very quickly, so I'm going to go. Alright, blessings, love and light, bye.